Hello, everybody, and welcome to our reading session.
Welcome back, people.
Today, it is all about the logs. Not
It
ours.
is it is hell on earth. We're going to be reading for as long as it takes to get us through 24 notes.
Unless there are some duplicates, then it will be less. But when we count to 24, we will see how much we have.
Yeah.
So without further ado,
Let's begin with Captain Frainhall's log.
Alright.
Oh, that's a long one.
All of them?
We're starting off strong. Well, here we go. After more than a month's travel, we've reached the port of Karen, and a hard month it was. The crew has suffered more than they deserve. During the first week at sea, a freak storm flooded the hold and ruined a fair portion of our bitter provisions. The steward's been forced to dole out smaller portions than I'm sure he'd like. There were more than a few threats to his life come meal times. To add to the lean conditions, a particularly bold band of native pirates attempted to board the ship from a small canoe as we passed near the Tarkin Islands. I didn't know what they were thinking at the time, as they had little chance of sacking the ship. Not a one of them was fully dressed, and only 2 of the 5 were armed, if you can call it that. They carried no more than roughly fashioned spears. Little did we know they were so lethal. The crew's response was expectedly concise, and the attempted raid was stopped almost before it started. However, 2 of the crew, Barkin the deckhand and Rennet, our new swabby, sustained minor injuries from the incident. Both took ill and died no more than a day later. It turned out those half-naked bastards were planning to poison us all in our sleep. They got what they deserved, hogtied and keel-hauled. Some of the crew suggested less savory ends, but it's important not to allow the rabble to run rampant in such situations. As it is, I allowed them to keep the hands. It's a foul practice, if you ask me, but they do fetch a fine coin if you can source the right buyer. I'm sure the old boatswain Yarrick will have no trouble finding someone to sell them to here. This is to be the first of 3 nights at port as the ship's cargo is sold and her hold replenished. I've given the crew their leave, which I'm sure they will take at local taverns and homes of ill repute. As is well deserved, no doubt. I shall tend to the ship's business and attempt to source cargo for our return journey. The Karen port is truly a sight to behold, many times larger than any this captain has seen in his many years at sea. Hundreds of ships make landfall, and just as many with bellies full of cargo wait at the mouth of the river. The docks churn like a well-oiled machine, and the pristine city beyond glistens in the moonlight as if bathing in its rays. Yet in my short time ashore, I've seen the all but hidden evidence of the dark underbelly that bolsters any successful port. Back alley dealings, wealthy merchants treading on the less fortunate, a ship whose hold is overflowing with bound and chained folk, stolen from a far-off land. I am certain our return journey, will be a profitable one, though I hope to haul a less unsavory cargo.
Well, has it been half an hour already? I believe it has.
Alright. So, are we gonna switch back and forth, or do you want me to just go?
Yeah, we can just switch back and forth. I will take the burning shores, because it seems related to ships as well, right? The burning shores. I cannot fathom what fate has befallen us. The water in the bay burns as if it were liquid flame. The countless ships docked along the piers consumed in an instant, like twigs in a blacksmith's furnace. The hellish flames reach beyond the bay and threaten our city, our homes. I still hear the screams of sailors as they burned alive, and the chaos in the streets as the flames spread. My body is numb with fear, but my mind is racing. I cannot comprehend the sights that I bore witness to in the dawn's light, or what would bring such unimaginable tragedy upon us. The bay's flames linger in my mind like an unending nightmare. Were it not for Yaren's calm mind and quick action, I may have perished in the initial frenzy that ensued. While others panicked and fled, trampling each other in the process, Yaren gathered us up and placed us in his wagon with a small satchel of supplies. Without delay or thought for himself, he sent the horse into a gallop towards the exit gates. He refused to come, saying that he had to stay and try to help others. As refugees continue to gather at the temple of Osir, I have seen no sign of my dear husband. I do not know what has become of him, but I fear our future may be just as bleak. The skies to the north are burning. Red-hot pillars of flame leap towards a dark, ashen cloud that hangs over Corvin City. Whatever curse had stricken the Karen dogs appears to continue there as well. I pray that we will find safety to the south.
Just so you know, I had that same note, so I checked it.
Fuck yeah. I mean, cool. Is that already the next note?
Sorry.
I can do another if you want to keep chewing.
No, I'm good. The desert calls. Oh, this is a short one. Yes. Her burning waves beckon, calling sweetly in my ear. I see her in my thoughts like a golden ocean laid bare before me. Her grand expanse conceals countless treasures hidden tightly away, left for only the most intrepid lover to reveal. Though her dangers abound, she lingers in my mind, haunting me as I sleep. There are many others I have loved of beauty beyond compare, whose pleasures weaken lesser men, but only she has gripped my heart. And though she is the cruelest of lovers, starving and burning those who seek her pleasures, I shall return to her. For the desert calls to me, and I shall always answer.
That is romantic. And just so you know, I had that one too.
Nice! We might actually make it before the hour is over.
Yeah. I will continue. Do you have any system to how you do it?
No, I'm just starting in the top left.
Oh, okay, I started somewhere in the middle because I'm stumpy like that. I will read the sting. The sting. The parchment is covered in what appears to be dried up human bile. Day 4. The Corvin people have been generous with their treasures. Hardly a threat in sight. I had to use the fire of my camp to scare off something lurking in the dark last night, but otherwise, it had been an easy journey so far. Day 5. Today I was making my way back to the camp when something stung me. Made me feel a bit dizzy. I know a good night's sleep will help me feel right as rain. Nothing to be concerned about. Day 6. Or is it 7? I'm not sure how long I've slept, but something is definitely wrong. My lips are cracked, my gums are bleeding, and the headache, my god, the headache is blinding. The skin feels like it's crawling, everything hurts so bad I can barely move. What manner of demon stung me? Day 9. I've managed to crawl my way back to the horse and traveled back south, out of the basin, but the symptoms have not abated. Twice now I've woken in agony, burning up. My skin moves on its own as if something was moving beneath the surface. Day 10. I've watched in horror as a fat maggot tore through the flesh of my abdomen from the inside. They are inside me. By the gods, they are feasting while I still live. Takes a lot of fucking guts, pun intended, to write a note after a maggot just tore through your stomach.
Yeah. It's also fucking great to hear a story about maggots feasting on the inside of man while you're shoving chicken nuggets in your mouth.
I mean, yeah. Enjoy your nuggies.
Thank you. Alright. Nah, right. Kuha's letter. Namia, my desert flower, how my heart aches to be with you and the children one last time. I fear this letter will not find its way to you, but I must write down my thoughts nonetheless. You see, I've lied to you when I set out beyond the Apache Mountains. I am not returning home. I'm going for milk. One more task remains that will take me to where even the light of her divine cannot reach, where I will forever remain. While I cannot speak of what I must do, please know that it is of the most vital importance in order to keep you safe, to keep us all safe. I'm sure you think I exaggerate, but after what I have witnessed, I no longer think there are limits to the evils mankind is capable of. That's true. In that I am no exception, for the path I have undertaken is dark with the blood of my fellow men that trusted my every command. Know that in my final moments I will think only of your beautiful smile. Your face will be the only sun I will worship for the remainder of my days. Give the children my love. Yours until the sun burns cold and the stars go dark. Hoo-ha.
Too-ha.
Hoo-ha.
So, I got a question though. Because I got Tuha's Travelogue page 2. Do you have page 1 by any chance?
Yes.
Okay, then I will save the page 2 for later. But this was already something from Tuha, so he is a person. Was. I don't know. I will read Naema's letter to Jorhun. My dearest Jorhun, we're nearing the end of our journey now. I can see the oasis in the distance calling to us like a great beacon in a sea of sand. It cannot come soon enough. Another day in the burning desert and Yeisha may lose her mind. As it is, her spirit dwindles. She concerns herself with inevitability. She's been asking what will happen once we reach the temple and what will come of her if she is chosen by the priests. Oh god. And tried to explain that it would be a great honor if she was chosen out by all the young women who make the journey this year. But she questions the necessity of it, asking why she should give herself to Horan. I try to offer a reason, but I must admit my faith falters. I do not have your strength. I see the same in the others who follow their daughters on pilgrimage. Like me, I am sure they remember the journey as young women, the anticipation and fear they felt. I remember questioning my mother's faith as well as she guided me to the temple steps. It seemed unfathomable that she would so willingly give me away, but she remained stoic and devout. I fear I am not the mother she was. How am I to leave my precious lotus? How can I just give away Yeisha if she is chosen? If only I could tell her how I truly feel. If I could just embrace her and cry together with her one last time. But I know I cannot. I must remain strong for her. I know how important it is for us to give thanks to Horan, to pay tribute to all that he provides. But my love, it is so terribly hard to see the beautiful young woman our precious Yeisha has become, and to imagine our life without her. I must go now to begin the final preparations as we approach the temple. I have mended the dress I wore on pilgrimage and fitted it to Yeisha. She will be the fourth of her name to wear it. Perhaps it will bring her luck. She will be so beautiful in it. Should she be chosen, I am certain Horan will be pleased. By the time you read this, the ceremony will be over and I shall be making my journey home. Forgive me, but I pray that I will not be making the trip alone. Yours always, Naema.
Didn't know they had the Catholic faith in this game.
Yeah, surprising, huh?
Well, no, probably not, right? Because there's girls.
Yeah, true.
Alright, speaking of Horan, though, the trials of Horan. All who drink of the waters and bathe in their cleansing current shall give thanks to Horan and be indebted, for it is the blood of his love that gives liquid life to the valley of the Eldritch Sun. Before the walls of the temple gleamed in the light of Ron, before the first of the Corvin people arrived to build the foundations of their faith, there was only Horan. Excuse me. Scorned and persecuted by his people for the depths of his faith in the God of gods, Horan fled to the burning desert to seek a life of devotion and solitude. Excuse me. For a time, the desert provided for him, as it had not provided for any creature before him. There, Horan lived happily and spent his waking hours meditating upon his faith. In time, as all do virile creatures, Horan grew lonely, and so he prayed to our eldritch patron, pledging all he possessed for the pleasures of companionship. As the glow of a Tef grazed the burning sands, he fell ill, and though a cool night drew upon him, the heat of the day still burned in his skin. His god bade him sleep, and as he slept, a feverish vision overtook him. At daybreak, Horan awakened from his dream and set upon his quest. With his sole possession, Aneth, the ghost which had given the the goat which had given the best of his years to run thick with milk for him, and whose offspring he had gorged himself upon. He marched deeper into the desert. Hold on. He had a goat
Yep.
for years,
Yep.
running thick with milk,
Yes.
and the goat had offspring
Yes.
by itself.
Yes.
All right.
Mhm.
The burning light of Ron weighed heavily on him that morning, and for 7 days hence he marched without food or rest. On the 5th day, Aenith, like many creatures before it, succumbed to the heat and could go no further. With waning strength, Horn carried the beast and cared for it until his body would serve him no more. There, at the end of his journey, Horn collapsed and prayed to the Elder's son for mercy. His god commanded he lay death Aenith. He laid dead Aenith to slit the beast's neck and drain its blood upon the sands, and Horn did as his master asked. As the crimson waters of Aenith's life ran out upon the sand, it hissed and burned in the midday sun. From the pool of burning life, there arose a woman. Ayana, she was called, and she poured upon Horn the love for which he had so yearned. Okay. Together, Ayana and Horn knew only ecstasy, and for a time they were happy. But their love bore no fruit, and so they once again prayed to their god to sate their desires. Thusly, Yalia was born, a child of such immense beauty that Ron and Etha both became jealous of how the light of the sun and of the moon danced and sparkled in her eyes. Ayana and Horn were happy once more. But there was a gift that was given and a prize that was yet to be paid, and so the desert turned against them. Struggle and strife beset Ayana and Horn. Food aged and rotted at their touch. Water turned to sand as they drank, and young Yalia fell ill of hunger. With nowhere to turn, Horn begged his god for mercy, and the elder's son answered. But to save the life of Yalia, there was a price that needed to be paid. Horn once again did as his master bade him, and gathered up the blade which had slain Aenith. Then, as he stood there hovering over the bed of Ayana, the jagged and terrible blade raised high above him, Horn's faith faltered. He could not take the life of his love, not even to save Yalia. Horn turned the blade upon himself and drew its claw-like edge across his throat, but it made no mark. Then Ayana called out and clutched desperately at her neck, the red life seeping out between her fingers. Horn ran to her side, but it was too late. The warm blood flowed from her body and pooled in the sand beneath his feet. From the pool of Ayana's life, there burst a ceaseless spring of cleansing and water. The elder's son had once again answered his prayers, but Horn's life was not his own to take. Horn bathed Yalia in the water of the spring, and she was healed. But the lovely child never forgave him for the death of her mother. As the cost for his greed, Horn was cursed with ceaseless life, such that he might remember the death of his beloved Ayana for all eternity, and so that one day he might hold Yalia in his arms as she too drew her final breath. Such is the price of godhood.
God damn.
So why do they have to, pick girl? Oh, I'm guessing the girls are sacrificial then. For the desert to remain, giving.
Maybe. I'm still struggling with the name of the goat though. Aenith.
Mm-hmm.
It just sounds like Mike Tyson being kinky. This is my Aenith. Look at my Aenith.
What was the girl called again? I forgot.
Yalia, I think.
Oh, because there's a Yanya's diary that I have.
I'm sorry that I'm making fun of Aenith.
No,
Aenith
but
was
the
a good
fact
goat.
that he had a goat that had offspring, but there was only one goat.
Yeah, I mean,
He wasn't as lonely as the note made it out to be.
no, there must have been at least 2 goats. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Death to the usurper.
And not just that.
Oh,
Why the
well,
fuck would he kill her offspring? Like, he could have kept some goats. I mean, you know, technically speaking, it would be wrong, but at that point, if you're hungry and thirsty, it doesn't really matter, right?
Isn't that what he did? Didn't he eat them?
Yeah, he ate the offspring,
Yeah.
but he could have kept the offspring, raised the offspring, had the offspring make more offspring. I mean, that would have been kind of a Hugo with Cocoa Puffs, but
Yeah.
he could have had an unlimited supply if he just, you know?
Yeah, true, true. But
But
instead,
instead, he ate the babies and kept the old one alive.
yeah, because that's what the god, that's what whoever the fuck it was commanded, right?
Was that? Did he command the guy to bang his own goat and eat the
Well,
offspring?
that is not what the text said.
It's implied, though.
But biologically, it ain't making no sense.
We're playing a video game where gods and monsters are killing people.
Okay, but I still refuse to believe that a man could impregnate a goat.
We burned a fucking breeding factory of spirits inhabiting monstrous looking women.
Yeah, but that's not the same.
We saw feet that were bigger than us
True,
just in that factory.
true.
Just saying.
Yeah, I mean, you got a point. It's fair.
The,
So-
the implication that he was banging the old goat and eating his babies with the old goat. I mean, unless there were like wild goats that were humping his goat.
Also
But
possible.
why didn't he try to domesticate them then?
I don't know. This is not something we need to philosophize about right now.
It's a question for the people. What do you think?
Yeah, if you even watch this far. If anybody is watching this, God bless you.
Who knows? I'm happy you made it this far. And
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
yeah.
All right, so read your note, buddy.
Death to the usurper.
Whoops.
What in the fucking shit?
You know me, I always put the wrong button. I'm so used to games with L being like the quest log or the lore log. But it's
That
cute.
don't make no sense. Why would L stand for log?
Remember Maple Story? L was the button that you pressed for the quest.
Yeah,
quest log.
I was making a joke because L for log, you know, why would that make sense?
Yeah.
Get it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
It's Q for clog.
Yeah.
No, quest log Q. Quest
Yeah,
log
and
clog.
quests, yeah, of course.
Huh.
And
But if you just
H is
log.
clearly for
Hand jobs.
alright. I'm ready.
I am. I don't know if you can hear it, but I'm smashing H right now.
God damn. You talk about hand jobs and then you're like, I don't know if you can hear it, but
Read your note, buddy.
for the third time, death to the usurper. Praises be upon the three. Praises be upon their wisdom, their foresight, and their pity upon mankind. For without their blessings, we would be as worthless husks, devoid of the gifts of the eldritch realm, and at the mercy of the luminary hounds. Curses be upon the usurper, the burning vengeance, the Corvin destroyer. Curses be upon his lust for the eldritch thrones, the pinnacle of the gods. May he die 1,000 deaths as Dreek suffers 1,000 festering wounds. May his insides fill with spiders and his eyes turn to ash by eldritch fire. All this we invoke upon the usurper of the eldritch powers. Powers meant to be wielded by the true gods and their servants. We march through the blistering sands and into the heart of flame, the whispers of Dreeg in our ears, the hounds of Bismiel at our side, the black flame of Soloel upon our blades. None shall be spared before our wrath. By the gifts of our patrons we will reclaim what is theirs, and though our blood shall spill upon the Corvin sands, it will be done in honor of the true masters of humanity.
Flame, dear flame.
Yeah.
Remember
I very much do.
that? All right. So I got 7 more notes left.
Hot diggity dog, I got 6.
We're breezing through this shit, man.
Yeah, and I think we still got duplicates. I'm optimistic on that.
Yeah. All right. Tuha's travelogue, page 1. It's not that bad.
Too-ha.
Hoo-ha. I counted days since setting off from the gardens of Tep and the grim events of that fateful night. The Grand Magus Morganeth and his acolytes were felled by the wisdom and might of the temple wardens. But what the heretic unleashed cannot be so easily halted. It can merely be contained. While the eternal night lies dormant beyond the ruin gate, the final burden fell to me but one. The final burden fell to but one. If the Corvin people are to be truly free from this darkness, then none can know of where the seals lie hidden. And that I have offered myself, for no other could be entrusted with this grave duty. Vizier Erhaman swore to pray upon the path of ascension that my sacrifice not be in vain, and granted me his holy sigil so that none will stand in the way of what I must do. I pity the men that now accompany me on this journey, for they do not know the heavy price they will soon be forced to pay. Oh, so we found one of those seals, you know, the things that were shot by strong magic that we couldn't open.
Yeah.
You think that was one of the things that this guy's talking about?
Seems very possible now, doesn't it? So now, since it makes a lot of sense to read this next. Corvin Expedition, second entry. No, I'm just kidding. Two-Horse Travelogue, page 2.
You get the longer one.
Oh, why are you laughing if you got the shorter one?
Yeah, that's also true. Yeah, I did think about that.
Okay. Eternal Son, protect me that I endure these crimes, and eternal pox upon the heretics that have caused this calamity and what I am forced to do. May Ulzumin thrust his burning fist into their souls, that they may feel the agony of death once more. I've left my finest acolyte, Herod, to suffer within the desert maw. I do this knowing that my unexpected betrayal will drive him deep inside the terror beneath the sands in a vain attempt to seek escape and his revenge. Sorry. He was always so driven and resilient and loyal. Now I've repaid his long service with agony. May the first seal be devoured over 1,000 years. The second seal's location offered little respite from the evils I was duty-bound to commit. There the lives of my caravan were forfeit, so that their tongues may never slip the location of the cursed object. While this was not done by my hand, the blades of Atef saw to the grisly deed. Their every move felt as if I was the perpetrator. I now set out with what remains of my entourage for the final location, where the third seal will forever lie beyond the reach of the blessed sun, and where I will remain to atone for my sins.
Sounds hot.
Yeah.
Alright. Yanya's diary.
It's a diary, alright.
We're gonna probably read about this, what seems to be a young woman going on the quest of Poontang. Alright. Father would have me hanged if he knew, but he shouldn't be none the wiser. A nod called me this evening, whistling like the evening sparrow from the garden below my window. He pleaded with me to join him, and I could not resist. Silently we snuck past the night guard, through gardens, over walls, out of sight, down to the docks, where I paused for a moment in amazement. They were ablaze with activity. I couldn't believe my eyes. While the rest of the city slept, the docks positively hummed with activity. I'd never seen them at night. A nod grasped my hand and snapped me out of my stupor. It led me down a secret path running next to the docks out past the last ship. From there we could see the bay stretching out before us. Its rippled surface sparkled in the light of a Tef. It was more beautiful than I could have imagined. We could see ships entering the bay, their sails like pale specters against the jewel-filled night sky. It was Nod's plan all along for us to go swimming of all things. Father would lose his mind. He's forbidden me to swim. He says it's inappropriate for a young woman to swim.
Mm-hmm.
So what? A young woman is just supposed to drown?
Yes.
Anad has promised to teach me, but tonight he guided me down to the shore so I could wade in up to my waist. The water was like a warm bath, and Nurdu fish nibbled at my toes. As I walked, and not swam out past the pier so far I could barely make him out against the glimmering water. I've heard there are massive fish that linger out there, waiting for a ship to drop scraps or for someone to fall overboard. But now I think those are mere tales. People tell children to keep them from swimming. Why would they want to keep anyone from doing this? It's incredible. I would certainly teach my children to swim in the bay one day. No, no, you're not.
Hmm.
You're dead.
Yeah. Well, Corvan Expedition. First entry.
I only got the third entry for that one.
Yeah, I got the second one still.
Okay.
I could do 2 in a row and then you do the third one.
Alright, cool.
The writings gathered here are to serve as record of our journey to reach the lost Corvan city. This expedition is the culmination of a lifetime of study by myself, Thomas Patterson, and my esteemed colleague Roderick Crane. Together we have focused our efforts on ancient lore that speaks of a magnificent city of gold hidden deep in the burning desert. A city whose people and culture vanished generations ago. By following the works of Ryan the Scholar, sparse regional folklore, and a number of cryptic religious texts, we were able to piece together a potential location for the lost city. From Ryan's writings, we know that the main port of entry to the Corvan civilization was a place called the Kairan Docks, a massive coastal city positioned in a protective bay just inland of a large river delta. However, recovered Corvan folklore claims that the waters of this river delta and the protective bay where Kairan was situated turned to flame and were burned away during the supposed cataclysmic event that had ended the civilization. After speaking with a number of shipping merchants and retired sailors, we have pinpointed a location that fits this description. A strip of land where the desert meets the sea, just north of Cape Erin. Terrain and weather here are apparently so treacherous that few have ventured far from the coast. It should not go unmentioned that funding for our expedition was provided by a number of wealthy individuals from both Ireland and Malmö. It does concern me that their interests in the lost city may not align with ours. And they have sent a retinue of individuals to monitor our progress and look after the investment. I am concerned that they may attempt to interfere if things don't seem to be going their way. Roderick assures me that whatever their intentions, we will not allow them to waylay us from our goal. Though I suspect he's told them they are likely to find some sort of treasure or otherwise valuable items to make it seem worth investing in our expedition. And so our journey begins. And so this journey continues with the second entry. Day 23. Until today our journey has been an exercise in the mundane. I have lost track of time as I watch the ship's crew go about their routine day in and day out. I feel more than a bit useless, but the captain has explained a number of times that our involvement will only make this crew less efficient. So I sit, read, watch the clouds pass overhead, and review my notes over and over again. That all changed this morning, shortly after the Fire Nation attacked. That all changed this morning, shortly after dawn, when I was violently awoken by the sound of cannon fire. The shattering boom gave me such a start that I fell out of my hammock. When I rushed above deck, the scene was somewhere between utter chaos and military precision. Before I could determine what was happening, the captain ordered Roderick and I below deck. Later, when the fracas had subsided, I had a chance to speak with him. Evidently, the Dawn Watchman spotted another ship with no colors flying, a sure sign of piracy. The captain said. Was one sentence. Instead of risking an attack, he decided to go on the offensive and begin firing as soon as the ship was in range. Whatever he did, it worked and the other ship fled. However, it appears this is a common tactic among pirates of the region. They follow ships around and attempt an attack at night when the crew is less alert. I shudder to think that our expedition could have come to such a grisly end before we even reached the barren shores. Day 27. The captain tells me we're nearing our destination, no more than a day's sailing left, and then an indeterminate number of days searching the desert for the lost city. The retinue of babysitters sent by our investors have been asking Have been asking a number of peculiar questions about the burial habits of the Corvan people and about the types of objects we might hope to find there, none of which I have answers to. I caught one of them reading an ancient-looking text of some sort the other day. Aurenial Arcanum, the name read. It is a volume I am unfamiliar with, though if I didn't know better, I'd say it was exactly the kind of thing that could attract luminary attention. He snatched the book, closed and hid it in his jacket when I asked what he was reading. His scowl said it all. Peculiar, indeed.
I'm thinking that this Corvin expedition has more than 3 parts.
Probably.
And we, as we continue to play the video game, we may find more of this. Corvin expedition, 3rd entry. Day 29. It has been 2 tedious and nerve-wracking days since we made landfall. Our time is spent cautiously picking our way through arid canyons and barren valleys, with no sign of civilization. We are forced to travel huddled together with armed guards at our flank, a cumbersome but necessary measure. One of our porters was mauled by an unknown predator while relieving himself. We must be incredibly cautious to prevent further attacks. I am no expert in the study of animals, but I have witnessed many here that defy my understanding of the natural world. Massive reptiles skulking in the dunes, flying predators with wingspans as large as a ship, beetle-like insects the size of a man. This is a place of deep primordial energy. I feel certain we are on the right path. Day 31. Today we have reached the first true evidence of civilization. The lotus symbolism and crumbled remains of guardian statues that have previously only seen this depicted in text made it abundantly clear that these were indeed remnants of the Corvin people. Around midday, we walked clear of the insipid and deathly dry desert, and there laid out before us were the sprawling ruins of a once glorious city. Beyond the sands covered husks of buildings, I could make out the remnants of a massive port and the bones of ancient ships now resting on the dry salt bed. There was no doubt about it. These were the Karen docks, the port that connected Corvin City to the luxurious trade routes that brought power and riches untold to these shores. Beyond it, the now barren bay that served as its connections to the outside world. Our efforts are paying off. We are now on the path once trod by the Eldritch Sun himself. Day 32. We've uncovered an ancient bathhouse and temple complex at the center of the port city. Our accompaniment insisted on exploring the ruins and carefully cataloging every grain of sand that appeared unique to them. I tried to impress upon them that this was not the intended destination of our expedition and that it was not the time for delays. Not when we were so near, not after so many years of preparation. I will not allow their petty attempts to recover meaningless artifacts to stall our progress. Perhaps the time for more drastic action has come. I will speak with Roderick in private. Beyond prying eyes, we will reach an agreement as to the appropriate next steps. 4 more notes!
Yeah, 3 for me right now. Ooh, time is flying, bro. Harnessing the Forgotten. There are ulterior motives to my selecting this location for our conclave. The Dreek seers have no doubt felt it by now, and your spiders have suspected. Yes, the veil is thin here, and yes, that enables the cults to better work with the gifts of the Eldritch Realm, but another source of power lies buried at our fingertips. At my behest, one of our most gifted scholars in the Veil's mysteries, Mazan, is working on harnessing this power. As you well know, there are other realms, other constructs of the primordial gods. The statues adorning this sacred place are more than just mere decoration. They are conduits between realities and could be manipulated to form a gateway with enough force of will. I believe Mazan is close to a breakthrough, and once he succeeds, we will have an entire realm of untapped potential to harness for our purposes. I, for one, am eager to see what we can cover if past experience is any indication.
So basically that's the Shattered Realm.
Yeah.
Terrors of the Eldritch Realm. I must admit, at first I was thrilled with my discovery. To divide the witch gods and transport myself to their domain without their knowledge was an exhilarating prospect, even more so when I succeeded. What I did not account for, however, is the intrinsic instability of the realm I had traveled to. The land itself, as astounding to behold as it is, shifts within a vast emptiness. The portal I had ripped through the veil became unstable within minutes of my exploration. I gasped in dismay from a distance as it ruptured and vanished before my eyes. Without my reagents back on Cairn, I cannot possibly create another rift. My only chance now is to study the local flora in the hopes of discovering alternatives to my spell. This is a realm of raw wild magic after all. Surely if the witch gods can harness it, then so can I. There are, however, more pressing concerns. While I seem to have evaded the infant gaze of Dreeg, I have attracted the attention of local wildlife. Most appear to be harmless, ravens with feathers that shimmer in the sunlight fly overhead, and lizard-like creatures skitter around my feet. But from time to time I hear the bushes shift violently as something larger passes by. Unnatural sounds echoing in the distance have sent a chill down my spine on more than one occasion. Worse still, the sounds are getting closer. I am starting to believe now that my success was not so much due to outsmarting the gods themselves, but them knowing that I was doomed to begin with. This is not the domain of humans. It is an untamed realm teeming with creatures beyond comprehension, and I have become their prey.
Predator.
So, I have left Writings of Rion the Scholar, first entry, Yaren's Travelogue, first entry, and Writings of Rion the Scholar, final entry.
I have nothing of that, and also no prior entries of that or sequels to that.
Okay.
So no duplicates
got?
after all. Well, fuck me in the booty hole.
Bend over, bitch.
Fuck me in the anus.
And anus. Fucks my anus.
Alright. Well, the vanguard must hold. Our efforts to the north have been met with increasing resistance. The fanatics have become aware of our activities and are attempting to push us back. At first they merely tested our defenses. Watching them pass through our defensive wards was a pleasing sight, and the stench of burning flesh filled the air. Unfortunately, they were more prepared during later incursions, and I regret to say that our wards are no longer holding them back. The sentinels have suffered some injuries during these initial exchanges, but no casualties. The followers of Kaiman have greater numbers than we suspected, and the powers they are harnessing are unlike any we've dealt with before, and more gruesome. In the most recent strike, a bare-chested behemoth of a man, with his face flayed off, charged the vanguard in a whirlwind of blades. His gut was exposed to reveal a churning furnace of molten flames that he unleashed upon our forces. Within moments he had taken out 4 of our sentinels without pause. Only when we had finally brought him down by removing his head did we realize that his arms had been removed at the elbows and fused with burning hot blades. To our relief, when he fell, the other fanatics retreated. I dread to think what would happen if several such giants attacked us at once. I pray to Dreeg that the time to strike is nearly upon us, and that our main force at the conclave will meet us here, as without reinforcements, the vanguard will not hold out much longer. But do not interpret this as hesitation. We will fight to the last to keep this point secure in the name of the witch gods.
Nice. Alright. Yaren's Travelogue, first entry. We set out yesterday to make our way over the charred rim and down into the valley below. It is a wild place where towering basalt formations jut from the ground like the bones of an ancient beast. I don't know what happened here, but it appears as if the earth turned itself inside out, spewing its jagged entrails across the valley floor. The land rests now, but signs of ancient turmoil abound. I must say I am pleasantly surprised to find that Amal's map has been accurate. When he bought the old rag from a wandering junk peddler and then tried to convince me to join his little treasure hunt, I was skeptical to say the least. After all, what kind of traveling trash merchant carries a genuine treasure map for a few measly iron bits, no less? Even if the map was real, I thought, what business do Amal and I have trekking through a burning desert to raid some poor soul's long-forgotten grave? But he's really come through this time. The map is intact. The map is in fact real, and remarkably, Amal has led us this far without incident. According to the map, it won't be more than a half day's journey to the place they once called the Valley of the Chosen, or so Amal says. I'm relying entirely on him, as I cannot read the supposed ancient language the map is written in. How he can is beyond me. There are signs of a once mighty civilization everywhere. I've seen buildings, statues, tombs, and temples. Some stand as if they were erected yesterday, but most have fallen prey to the ravages that tore through this land long ago. If I didn't know better, I'd say the earth itself had reared up to lay waste to the structures built here, intentionally erasing some and leaving others untouched. It's an unnerving thought, no doubt. I do not know what happened to this place, or to the people that must have inhabited it, or why no one has returned to reclaim it. Amal tells me stories of cataclysmic events, the roiling hot blood of the earth pouring over the land, a natural beast risen to exact the vengeful punishment of a scorned god. I honestly don't know if he's making it up to scare me or if he genuinely believes that's what happened here. In the end, all that matters is that everyone left in a hurry and they left a whole lot of valuables behind. If it is true, and it appears to be, this will be a very profitable journey after all.
Hot damn.
Hot diggity dog.
Convergence of the Covenant. I am certain you have heard the whispers as I had. The mad one is restless, his mind filled with visions of the burning one's return. If the bonds are broken and his power restored, he could unmake everything. I do not have to remind you of the consequences. The triumvirate's fate is bound in this moment. Send word along the spider's web. Rally the servants of Bismiel. I invoke the sacred covenant. The forces of the three must converge in the forgotten lands of the Corvan people. Our forces must unite against this threat, or divided we shall succumb to the vengeful flames. None must be allowed to defy our summons. Any that do are as much enemy as the forces we contend with, and shall be dealt with in kind. We must not allow ourselves to be distracted by the machinations of the ethereals or the bloodletters succumbing to their own doom. The danger they pose pales in comparison to what awaits us if we fail. And if the web has done its part, then the early survivors will at least stymie their progress long enough for our matters to be settled. Seek out the twin statues. You know of which I speak. The veil there is thin and will serve as an opportune location to begin our work. At the request of the Infinite I have dispatched the emissary to track down valuable allies who will turn the tide in our favor. I consider their lives expendable in pursuit of victory, but one must not tamper with the whims of fate when they are so clearly written before us. By the three thrones, we will eradicate this threat to our gifts. The world will tremble before the might of the witch gods. Sagon, Vicar of Solel, Vicar.
Yeah, so your boss doesn't give a shit about us.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've figured that much already.
Yeah, but the emissary was very happy to have us.
Yeah.
Because we were fucking strong as hell.
Yeah.
As soon as we unzip, all the enemies die.
Yeah.
So I got 2 notes.
For you.
Yeah. Do you want me to read the first one and you read the last one?
Yeah, sure.
Writing as Orion the Scholar, first entry. Oh, you son of a bitch. Why did it have to end on a long one? I must admit, this place is truly a jewel in the desert. In my travels, I have been to the farthest reaches of the world, seen and experienced much. Sadly, most sights did not live up to their own tales. This place, however, is a marvel that exceeds even the grandest of stories. Transcribing its beauty and grandeur may prove challenging even for me. Speaking is challenging. I arrived via ship at the Karen docks late last night. By charter, a merchant vessel called Spire, packed to the gunwale with fine goods from distant shores. Its captain, a stalwart and grizzled sailor whose dedication and leadership shone through in the motivation of his crew. Likely a finely tuned machine, they deftly navigated the dangerous waters west of the Corvan River Delta. Like a finely tuned, not likely. Sorry, speaking
You
of
got
hard.
this. You got this. Hang in there.
We first spotted the Grand Port while still at sea, miles before entering the river where it is located. The Karen beacon shone brightly over the horizon. I do not know what magic powers that ubiquitous signal, but its intense light draws vessels from the seas like moths to a flame. As we sailed upriver, the port began to reveal itself to us like an eager maiden. Wow.
All right. No, that's a metaphor.
That's a man of culture, man. God
Yeah.
damn.
Woo.
Countless warm yellow lights gently illuminated polished sandstone structures, some more than 5 stories tall. Beautifully crafted statues and fountains proudly stood watch over the gardens and public spaces that flow through the Grand Bazaar. Sorry. Just thinking about an eager maiden.
All right, he is out of order for today, everybody.
It's been so long. I'm so lonely, man. The port itself was ablaze with activity. Containers hoisted to and from ships, dock workers and merchants closing deals, and crews taking leave in bars and fine brothels. Mere moments after I set foot on solid ground for the first time in weeks, I was greeted by my local contact. A beautiful woman of middling age, with an effortless and enticing gait further enhanced by the lovely gold embroidered gown and hung over her figure like a graceful waterfall. Damn. She guided me away from the pier to the heart of the port city and my lodging for the night, which I politely offered to share with her. Of course you did, you fucker. In advance, she graciously denied. Wah, wah, you're maidenless. Not even this could dampen my mood, however, and albeit alone, I had the greatest night of sleep in my life. The bazaar gently rocked me to sleep with the melodic hum of its ceaseless activity. This morning, my path takes me north to the capital, Corvin City. I shall join a small caravan that travels there daily, along the immaculate stone roads leading to the heart of the city, from the 4 cardinal directions. I can see the path now as I sit and wait in the lovely garden bower just outside my lodging. Its stonework shines in the gentle morning sun. Immaculate golden-leaved braziers mark its boundaries as far as the eye can see. Is it braziers or braziers?
The mm-hmm.
I,
It's
th-
a
I
word.
think the titty. I think the titty one is brazier, and brazier is like the fire pit.
Yeah, I think so, but I'm not certain.
Whatever. English is not my first language. If the next leg of my journey rivals the first, it shall truly be the experience of a lifetime. And then, Writings of Ryan the Scholar, final entry.
Ooh, lucky. Sadly, my time here has come to an end. How fitting. And I find myself back at the Karen Dogs, where I first embarked on this most magnificent journey. Weird. I met once again with my captivating local contact. Catrice is her name, I've learned. And as if this marvelous place were eager to grant me a parting gift, she agreed to share in my final night's lodging.
Oh,
Wow!
no longer a virgin.
Yay! Tomorrow I shall once again board the merchant ship Spire and depart for distant shores. My destination? Cape Erin and the untamed lands that lie beyond. There I will attempt to make contact with the indigenous peoples and study their deep understanding of the deep understanding of herbal medicine and insatiable penchant for the human sacrifice.
Oh yeah, that's gonna go well.
Yep. Wherever my travels take me, I shall certainly cherish my time here in the Corvin Basin. At least he got laid before he got laid to eternal rest.
He got laid before I got eaten.
Yeah. So I shall double check my inventory, but I do not see any further notes.
Neither do I, my good man. Neither do I.
Well,
Oh,
bless
we got the 3rd seal of Morganeth, I just realized.
Yes.
So, Tuha, we found one of the seals.
Yeah, the 3rd one that was still.
The one that wasn't supposed to be found by the sun, you know?
Yeah.
And we found it deep underground.
Yeah.
Makes sense. But, ladies and gentlemen, we have read 22 notes because we had 2 duplicates.
Yep.
How long has this been?
I have no clue.
You haven't
I
seen
think
the
it's been
recording?
days.
It's been months.
It's been years.
Years of reading. Well,
Yeah.
anyway, I hope you enjoyed this lore dump video, or no dump video, whatever the fuck you want to call it.
The lore galore.
Lore galore, yeah.
Yeah.
For you, we sacrificed our vocal cords.
For you, we sacrificed our immense focus.
Yeah. For you, my brain hurts now.
And for you, his brain hurts for me. What?
What? Anyway,
Yeah. Thank you so much for
thank you so
watching
much.
or listening. And yeah.
Yeah, hope you enjoyed.
Yeah.
See you Monday. Bye, people.
See you in the next episode. Goodbye.